Hello, friends. Welcome in. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show underway for another day. Happy to have you with us on this Tuesday, Jan 20, 2026. What is going on, friends? I missed you on Monday. I missed you yesterday. Thank you for joining us today. We've got 4 full hours of what I hope to be talk radio excellence on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. As I mentioned, my name is Matt Murphy, and this is the Matt Murphy Radio Show, which is convenient. I am joined by 2 of the best in the business. Jackson's also here. I don't know who the other one would have been, but, you see the opportunity and you take it. If they're going to leave the guy out in the flat open, you take him every time. There's Ken Weaver back in the newsroom, News Closet B, we call it. He gathers headlines for a living, delivers them twice an hour and when it breaks. What's going on, Ken Weaver?
How about you boys?
Ken?
Yes, sir.
Snowpocalypse.
I'm telling you, I tell you what, Brother Murphy, it's starting to look like it.
It's going to happen.
It looks like it's going to happen because, as I was telling Brother Chad and Brother Bellel right before the Murphy show, the National Weather Service has updated their look ahead, if you will, to include not only weekend snow and bitter cold this weekend, but also weekend freezing rain. Which means it's going to snow first if it happens, and then it's going to be freezing rain. So, you're talking about real slick ice.
Oh, so some nice snow, like a little layer of snow.
Yes, sir.
And then some ice right on top of it.
Ice on top of it.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
And
it's going to be below freezing for starting Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and even Monday. Yeah, it's not good.
Got to get the home studio up and running, Ken.
Yes, sir, you do.
Got to get the home studio up and running.
You probably will be doing your show from home.
Homebound on Monday. I think we're going to make that happen. I've got a worst case scenario, I've got like a 50-foot Ethernet cable.
Yeah.
And I think that would work just fine.
What if your power goes out?
Huh. The power goes out? I got a megaphone.
Becomes the Ken Weaver show real quick.
Yeah, it would real quick.
It become the Jackson show.
I don't think I can overcome the power barrier. Hello, Jackson. By the way, how are you?
I'm good. Ken, how would you get to work if Matt can't get to work?
I'll just report from my breakfast nook.
How am I going to get here?
Well,
sled dog?
Yeah, you'll transport yourself, Brother Jackson.
BAMN. By any means necessary is how you get here, buddy. We need producers on the board, ready to go. Now, you bring up a good point, though, because in Mount Juliet, I lived right behind a large assisted living facility and the Providence Mall, and we never lost power. And I don't know if it had more to do with the Providence Mall or the assisted living facility. I would like to believe it was the assisted living facility, but I'm thinking it's probably the mall. But one way or the other, we never lost power. But I don't know. In MP, I got no clue. I could lose power at the drop of a hat for all I know.
I tell you what, where I live at, it's wonderful because our power lines are underground.
Oh, well, that's nice. See, that's good. So rarely is it that ice would cause you any trouble.
So, Ken, how much snow are we talking?
We are talking at least 3 inches of snow.
Oh, that's nothing.
And then, but it's going to be that layer of freezing rain if that happens.
So yesterday morning, I get the movers going, and I got a lot to say about that, but I don't want to bore everybody right off the top. We've got a lot to do, man. It is a crazy news week. And I've got a lot to say about things that happened over the weekend that I was unable to say yesterday. And I got a lot of kudos and thank yous to get out of the way. But yet, on this snow point, so when I didn't realize it was snowing this weekend, I've been so focused all weekend long from Friday till almost this moment on getting all my crap moved to Mount Pleasant that I was just out of it. And I had to meet with the fence guy, and we had to walk the line. You've got to establish where you're going to put the fence, and you do that, together to make sure that there's no, discrepancy. And so my man Philip, who Precision Fence, we got a great game plan, and I expect he's going to execute it flawlessly. We're walking the line there, and I said something about the cold, and he goes, well, and here comes the snow. And I was like, what do you mean snow? And he looks at me and he said, some forecasts claim that it's going to snow 15 inches this weekend.
That's what I saw. I was driving back yesterday, and I saw it on Twitter. I was like, oh, that's not true. And then I did a little dig, and I was like, oh.
Now,
Boys.
that's a worst-case scenario, but
We just got an update.
uh-oh.
U.S. National Weather Service just updated to say that now the chance is for at least 6 inches of snow. 57% Murfreesboro, 55% Nashville, 52% chance Clarksville, 63% Lafayette up there on the Kentucky border. But pretty much everybody in Middle Tennessee is like a 50-50 chance for at least 6 inches of snow.
What about on the plateau?
The plateau is the apocalypse.
We'll have to ask Brother Dan Thomas about the plateau.
We need to ask Dan Thomas about the plateau. We need to get Dan Thomas on at some point this week asking about the plateau.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to have to get me a board at home. Figure out how to do this thing from there.
Good luck. BAMN. That's what I always used to tell my producers.
Yep.
They were like, well, what about BAMN? Yeah, but what about BAMN?
I got something for you.
What do you got?
FILLIN.
Boy, I thought you were going to spill
I thought Jackson had just had enough, man.
I thought you were going to give me an old. I got some letters for you, buddy.
I got those too, but
It
I'll
starts with an F. And it ends with an N. And it's fill in. Oh, thank goodness. Speaking of fill-ins, thank you so much to Brian Wilson, the great Brian Wilson, for filling in yesterday. We so appreciate him. And I didn't catch a minute of it, but I am certain that Brian did his normal, incredible job.
He did a great job.
Well, and I so appreciate him being back in Afternoon Drive with us, and I hope you guys did as well. Let me stay around for a minute or two, though.
Yes, sir.
I not only want to thank Brian, but I want to thank his lovely bride, Cabana Wife.
I heard about that, boy.
Let me tell you something. This was insane what Dawn and Brian did. They were so kind, and there's a lot of kindness that has been shown to me and Erica and the entire family as we're doing this move, and I'm going to get to a few of them in a minute if you will indulge me. But the Wilsons, they are feeding us for like a week. Dawn did. Let me tell you, have you had any of her cookies?
Yes.
Those cookies are evil.
Yeah, they weigh about 2 pounds apiece.
And they are it might be the best. And my wife bakes, and my wife is a great baker.
Absolutely.
And she does wonderful work. And she has baked many of the best things that I've ever put in my.
Yes,
this
sir.
might be the best cookie I've ever eaten. It might be the best cookie I've ever eaten.
I'm telling you, she could start a business.
It is insane how good these cookies are. And she made a lot of them. And then all the other food, and we've just got food for a week, and they're so kind. So thank you to the Wilsons, not just for Brian filling in, but for Dawn providing us some food so that we can get through the next few days without having to do fast food or whatever, because they know how it is. I mean, you move and everything's in boxes and you don't know where anything is, and it was very kind. I also want to thank, and I hope she's listening today, and I believe Erica texted her this morning, but and I feel like I didn't. The movers were getting there just as Miss Stacy showed up from Mount Pleasant. She's my neighbor from a street over, and she heard we were coming into town, and she heard we were moving in, and she brought us this awesome, Ken, it's a charcuterie. She made, I'm not making this up, this nice neighbor, my new neighbor, Stacy, and I think her husband's name's Ken. She made a charcuterie thing. And it's got nuts, and it's got the delicious pimento cheese that she homemade, and some sort of delicious butter, this spread on this bread. But she made salami roses. You ever seen this? Where they take salami and they make it into a rose. Oh. It's like a salami rose. That's like combining two of my favorite things on the planet. So I can't thank her enough. And she was getting there, and the movers were getting there, and I was kind of rushed and talking with her. So, Miss Stacy, I hope you're listening. Thank you so much. You're so very kind. There's just a tremendous amount of kindness that goes on, especially in these small town situations, and I just appreciate all of you. I appreciate Chris for doing me a solid on my window. Thank you, Chris. I got Mitch coming out. Mitch, big listener to the show. He's coming out tomorrow to deal with some door issues that I got. My sliding doors.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
got
a
that
big
going
deal.
on. And thank you to National Painting Company, who has been a fine sponsor of ours, and I know they'll crank it back up when the season's here. They did a great job painting the house, and we appreciate those guys for all the work that they put into that. And thank you to Efficient Heating and Cooling, because for some reason my upper heater isn't working. We got it fixed temporarily, but we knew that it was a temporary fix, and they're coming back out tomorrow morning, and I appreciate those guys too, because you know what? It's a little bit cold outside.
Yes, sir.
A little bit cold outside. And those are my thank yous. And if I missed anyone, I sincerely apologize, but I think I got all the thank yous in there.
I got a question for Brother Weaver real fast.
What is it, brother?
5467 says Mike from Old Hickory called Brian yesterday.
Yo.
Uh-oh.
Yes, he did.
What happened, brother? We need the full scoop.
Oh, my. Yeah, Brian had to ask, and he asked politely, but kind of a little stern, because Brian doesn't like all the name calling and things like that.
That's right. He operates. Brian's a professional. Me, I'm not so much. But yeah. Anyway, so
Brother Mike, he was calling liberals and Democrats stupid, but that's how he was saying. He was saying it stupid, and Brian had to say, okay, all right, we don't have to call names. We can get your point across without calling names. But, Brother Mike got in there.
Man. Well, Mike.
He took advantage.
You take advantage of my being out for one day. I think as a punishment, we should add a week onto his ban.
Just a day.
Okay, just a day.
February 2nd, he can call back.
All right, so Groundhog Day, Mike can call in for as many times as he wants, over and over again. Well, you know what? Listening to one of Mike's calls is like Groundhog Day, because he says the same damn thing every time he calls.
Perfect.
So it's a perfect opportunity. So, Mike, you have a one-day extension on your ban because you violated it yesterday, taking advantage of the fact that I was out moving. All right, so now
nobody disagreed. It was just Brother Brian. He likes a certain decorum.
That's right. I mean, and I respect that. I appreciate that. One of these days, I'm going to aspire to it. But today is not that day, because I'm about to start name calling.
Uh-oh, you getting ready to go, aren't you?
I'm ready to. I'm getting fired up. So
here we go.
Let me get this straight. This is my 100,000-foot analysis. Let me get this straight. Leftists are now actively advocating and actively promoting and engaging in lawless behavior. They are actively demanding that law enforcement agents violate the stated rule of law, and they're actively, violently pushing back against law and order and the rule of law in the United States of America, openly. They are advocating for illegal aliens against law-abiding American citizens. They are advocating that we ignore law that has been passed. So these same jackholes that lectured us ad nauseum after January 6th, because they called that an insurrection and it wasn't, and they called it this and that and the other thing and it wasn't. These same jackholes, not jackals, jackholes, that want to lecture us about what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. We have elected representatives in the halls of Congress passing laws, established law on the books, and the elected chief executive of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump, engages his department, his executive branch of government, in enforcing those laws. And we are told now, because they don't like the law and they don't have the votes to change it, that it's okay to ignore it. that it is not only okay to ignore it, that they will demand that you ignore it. And if you do not ignore it, they will attack you in your places of worship. They will attack you in the streets because we support law and order. Because we support the rule of law, they attack us in the streets and further erode and violate the law. Am I missing anything here? Am I missing something about the fact that it is impermissible, it is against the rules to enter the United States of America without the proper paperwork, without the proper documentation? And if you do so, that you have to be returned to your country of origin without specialized circumstances involved in your arrival, i.e. refugee status and whatnot. Am I missing anything here? When are we going to get pissed off like them? Aren't you? We have the law at our side. We have the law behind us. And if they don't like, and I understand it, look, I get it. They don't like it. They're mad about it. They want free reign. They want all the illegal. They don't invite them into their houses. They don't invite them into their communities. They don't invite them into their bedrooms. But they want them in this country. But they don't have the votes to change it. And so they just decide that they're going to ignore the rules. How far away, and it occurred to me over the weekend, I'm watching this jackwad Don Lemon and all of that, and I've got a lot to say about that too. How far away from complete lawlessness are we? If you decide which laws are morally proper for you and which are not, and which we ought to follow and which we should not. So it is against the rules to enter the United States of America without the proper documentation. If you do so, there are consequences for you violating those rules. But the liberals are like, well, we don't like that anymore, so we're going to ignore that, and we're going to demand not only that our fellow citizens ignore it, we're going to demand that the law enforcement apparatus that is there to protect American citizens' interest, we're going to demand that they ignore it too. So not only are we ignoring it on our streets, not only are we ignoring it in our neighborhoods, we're demanding that ICE ignore it as well. Okay. So explain to me how far away we are from liberals arguing that it is perfectly permissible for poor people to steal whatever they want to steal. I defy you to call me and tell me how that is different than the first example. How is it different that we're going to ignore the theft of property so long as we feel morally and ethically that you really, really need it? So if you want to walk into Publix or walk into Piggly Wiggly or walk into Kroger and take food and walk out, we're going to demand that law enforcement do not enforce the laws that are on the books against the theft of property because these people obviously really need it. And we're not going to go through the process of changing those laws. We're not going to talk to these business owners that complain about the theft of property because they're just mean people. They're evil people. They're racist people. They're whatever. Pick your pejorative. What am I missing? What am I missing that they aren't seconds away from that position? The political left. Can y'all help me? Can y'all help me? I don't know what to tell you. It's 25 after the hour. Just getting underway. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Call us 615-737-9986. That's the Super Text line. That's the call-in line. Would love to hear from you. It's the Matt Murphy Show. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Ken Weaver, you've got a staff of I don't know how many back there in the newsroom.
Yes,
News
sir.
Closet B. We need to send one of our reporters, our intrepid reporters, down to the Naked Statue Circle.
What's going on?
Apparently there are protesters. We had a reporter down there, Chad Benson, was walking by. Chad says we should send Jackson down there. Apparently, there are between 100 to 150 ICE protesters at the roundabout. At the Naked Statues that down there on DeMundrian. And they Chad sent me a few pictures. Let's see. One of them says, Marsha Blackburn, Bill Haggerty, do your jobs, impeach the dictator. Oh. How's he? I need to go down there. I need to talk to some of these folks because I would ask this fellow with this sign that says impeach the dictator, does he not believe that he was elected? I mean, he was elected in 2024, right? I mean, we are now at day 365 of Donald Trump's second term as president of the United States of America. Also, we're on day 960 of the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk, but be that as it may. Day 365. This has been 1 year. Only, doesn't it feel like more like 6, y'all? I mean,
I think it's gone fast, man.
Do you think so?
I think it's gone fast.
We've gotten a lot done, man.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, think about where we were when Donald Trump took over regarding our southern border. We don't talk about the southern border anymore.
Well, and we needed Congress to take care of that southern border. Remember?
Oh, that's right. That's what Joe Biden told us.
That's what Joe Biden told us.
Joe Biden said, "Oh, we just need some money from Congress. We'll get." I kind of miss him.
Yes.
Hey, come on.
Gotta have Congress.
Hey, Jack. Yeah. Dog-faced pony soldier. Yeah, we needed Congress. Sure, we did. Anyway, I would ask this fella who's holding the sign that says impeach the dictator, how's he a dictator if he was elected in 2024? That's not a dictator. I'd love to see what he says. And then somebody is holding up a sign that says WWJD, stop ICE. Okay. And then another one says justice and liberty for all. I've seen that sign before. That's a fake handmade sign that people gather around. And let's see, what else do we have? We've got one that says bleep ICE, starts with an F-bomb. It's the F-bomb that I thought Jackson said earlier. And then dump Trump and his GOP ass kissers. Well, ma'am, you dump Trump by electing a different president of the United States. And the president of the United States that we elected in 2024 was elected in part because of his position on illegal immigration. Once again, when you encounter people like this, I would encourage you, A, to be nice. B, I would encourage you to ask 2 basic questions. These are the questions that I like to start with for my liberal friends. Number 1, regardless of what you think they should be, should there be rules as to how you enter the United States of America? Think about that for a minute. Should there be rules or no rules? Rules or no rules? We don't have to talk about what the rules are right now. Just should there be rules how you come in? Now, if the answer to that question, when you're talking to one of our liberal friends, if the answer to that question is no, then understand that you're talking to an absolute moron, an absolute idiot that does their best just to get up in the morning and manage to remember how to put on their clothes. I mean, I'm sorry. Is that mean? Is that harsh of me to say it that way? Well, what else am I supposed to say? Without a process, without rules, without a sovereign border, without some semblance of knowledge as to who comes in and who comes out, you don't really have a country. You just have gatherings of people that come and go as they please. You don't have a system of law and order. So it's kind of a baseline. Should there be rules as to who comes in? And if the answer is yes, then the follow-up is simple. Well, I would like to talk with you about what those rules should be. But before I do, let me ask you this. If you have rules, what do you do to the people who break them? That's it. What do you do with them? Do you do nothing? Because if you do nothing, why do you have rules? It's really that simple. If you're running a household and you have 4 kids, and the kids always want cookies before dinner. They want some of those delicious Dawn Wilson, insanely good $1 million cookies. And so you've noticed that they eat the cookies and then they're not hungry for their dinner. And so you have to create a rule, because otherwise there's lawlessness and they're just eating cookies. And the rule is no cookies before dinner. You may not have a cookie before dinner. We can talk about cookies after dinner. We can talk about how that's going to work, but there's no cookie eating before dinner. Mm-hmm. So you walk in the kitchen, you're the grown-up, and you see your 7-year-old chowing down on a cookie at 4:30 in the afternoon before dinner. Well, what do? Do you punish the lawbreaker? Do you punish the rule breaker? Do you punish the person that has violated the rules as set down? Or do you let it go? What do you do to the people that break the rules? If you do nothing, then you ought not to have rules to begin with. What liberals are literally arguing on the streets of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and all across the United States of America, and apparently right down here at the Naked Statues in downtown Nashville, Tennessee, off Music Row, what liberals are actively arguing is that whether or not there are rules, there should be no consequences for breaking the rules. And that does not make any sense to me. I believe it's David on line 1. Is that correct? All right, we've got no problems with the phone lines. You can get in here at 615-737-9986. But I'll be asking Jackson who's on 1, who's on 2, who's on 3, because there's a little bit of a communication issue between that room and this room. So we've got David on line 1. Hey, David, how are you?
Hey, Matt, how are you? Thank you for taking the call.
I'm good, and you're welcome.
Okay, so today on my Google News feed, I saw a post from a Democratic politician that says we will resist and be ungovernable by resisting and not complying with the rules. So I wonder at what point are we going to get the cojones to deal with those people that are breaking the law, resisting the law, and impeding the ability of law enforcement to do their jobs. I understand, Matt, the optics, and I think the whole Minneapolis general protest is to paint an ugly optic for the 2026 elections and to deflect away from some of the other problems like fraud and things like that.
No, I agree. David, I agree with you. I agree with you on the optics front, but at some point we just have to stop caring about that, because they're never going to play fair. And they're going to trash whatever we do, no matter what it is, until they get their way.
Yes, sir, I agree.
Yeah. And so I do think we need a firmer approach. I do think we need to strongly delineate between what is lawful protest, what is legal protest, and what is not. And you're allowed to stand. Look, this thing that's going down at the Naked Statues off of Music Row, that's fine, whatever. You want to stand next to the Naked Statues and hold a sign, and that's fine. That's fine. What you cannot do is, and David, you obviously know this, what you cannot do is impede law enforcement activities that are legal.
So I have one last question, and it's just that I don't know the legalities. Does the president or the Congress have the right to appear on national TV like CBS, NBC, ABC, and put forth a messaging campaign that offsets the ugly optics? Is that not a requirement or an option?
Well, the president certainly can send out that message. There are two ways to get that done, David, and I'll let you listen online, and I appreciate your telephone call this afternoon. And looky here, what'd you do? Jackson, you fixed it.
I fixed it.
How about you?
There was cord loose.
Look at the big brain on Jackson. What about that?
That's the way to go, Brother Jackson.
Making it happen today. Making it happen. 2 ways to do that, David. Number one, you can buy time. You can buy advertising. Number two, the president of the United States may request time on the networks. I don't think he can require the networks to cover him. There might be a trigger in a time of national emergency. Now, and we can get into the weeds of arguing whether or not this qualifies as a national emergency. But national emergency, national crisis, we're talking about serious like invasion and that sort of thing. Now, once again, I understand what you're saying out there, but generally speaking, if the president makes an address to the nation and he requests that address appear on all the networks carry it. ABC, CBS, NBC. But they are not required to. They are not required to. That is my understanding of how it works. And if I'm wrong, y'all correct me, but I don't think I'm wrong. I may be wrong, but I doubt it. 615-737-9986. By the way, speaking of the president and the vice president of the United States of America, I don't know. Hey, Ken Weaver.
Yes, sir.
Have you seen this news about the VP?
Yes, I have.
What about that, buddy boy?
Yeah, the vice president and second lady Usha Vance are expecting a fourth child.
How about that? I thought they were on the outs, according to all the liberals. I thought J.D. Vance, I have it on good authority, according to that nut job Candace Owens, that J.D. Vance was going to marry Erica Kirk.
Yeah.
Huh, I guess that's not true. Like everything else she says. Anyway, Kim is next up. Kim, thank you for calling. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. What's on your mind?
On your new home.
Oh, you're very kind. Thank you so much. It's going to be great.
Good. Glad you're settled where you want to be.
Right here in God's country, Middle Tennessee, Miss Kim.
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a comment about your earlier comment about us having the law on our side as far as what to do with illegals and breaking our laws of entry into our country and that kind of thing. And we do have the law on our side, but the problem is Congress never enforces it. And now that President Trump has made the first steps in following through with enforcing it, he doesn't. I don't see that he has the support of Republicans in Congress, and he certainly doesn't have their support and their hard work, which seems to be lacking a lot of times, to pass into law his executive orders. I'm so disheartened and sick of Republicans' spineless supposed attempts to get something done. This Congress has followed many other Republican Congresses in the past with accomplishing nothing and folding at every Democrat hurdle that's put in their way. They can't seem to agree among themselves, drop their egos enough and their conservative, I'm more conservative than you are attitudes enough to actually accomplish anything. And
what is your top? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm curious. What is your top line, one or two things that you want to see from Congress?
I want to see them put into law all of the presidential executive orders that he has passed, so that they're not turned over if they lose in the midterms or down the road. I want them to actually stand up and do their jobs.
Well, I'm not here to defend the Congress, but I would say that they did pass the big, beautiful bill. You said they did nothing. unless you don't like the big, beautiful bill. I mean, I think it had some good – I mean, I wouldn't have voted for it, but I think it has some decent aspects to it.
I do too, but that's the only thing we can really point to of any substance that they have accomplished.
Well, I don't want them to do. I don't want them to do anything more. I mean, in a way, I want them to stop doing things because every time they do something, they spend money.
Well, that's true.
You know, and so I just assume they stop spending money. I understand your frustration, though, Ms. Kim. It is. They get so mealy-mouthed, and they just get so mealy-mouthed when they get up there. Yeah. It's just so frustrating, and I get it. I understand it, and I'm frustrated too. It feels like we take a step forward and then 2 steps back, but I will say this. The president has accomplished a lot in his first year in office, and thankfully we have a guy that's willing to stand up for what's right and for what he believes in without fear of reprisal. Kim, I got to go. I'm sorry I do, but I'm very, very late. I just looked at the clock. Thank you for the call. Thank you for the consideration. And I understand where you're coming from completely. It is frustrating that more in Congress do not have the wherewithal to get past the finish line on some of these issues, particularly single appropriations bills, which they claim to be working on, but I'm not holding my breath on it. And cut, I believe that says. It's 54 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.